It's Monday, December 18th, 2023, so you know what that means. We've got Monday Night Football and some NBA action. I've got some best bets for you. Let's dive into it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day. I just try to get to the bag together and make some money. I didn't put out any official videos over the weekend. Crazy weekend on my end, just working on some different things and traveling. But on Friday, we did have another snooze fest of a day, bro. It was such a crazy day on Friday. I can't believe we just completely had a reverse sweep. 0-4 on the day. We lost on Miles Turner's point and some rebounds. We lost on his double-double. We hooked on Julius Randle's points. And the Gonzaga game was trending over in the first half. In the second half, the defense showed up. We went 0-4 on Friday. You hate to see it. You can see our year-to-date record right here, okay? Slow. It's been in the month of December. Now, over the weekend, inside the Discord group, we went a little bit crazy. We had some great plays on Saturday and Sunday that made a lot of coin back. But overall, in the videos, it just hasn't been the best, and that's why I didn't put out any videos this weekend, because I really want to have the time to dive into the research, get into the lab. I also had to cook up a prize pick entry for Trent. That didn't even go so hot. So it's been a rough December, but listen, guys, we're going to continue to chip away. We're going to continue to claw back on these units, and you know the vibes. When my birds are playing, trust me, you guys know I'm locked in. So let's dive into these best bets. If you can drop a like and subscribe on the channel, I greatly appreciate all the love and support that you guys message me, the DMs, all of that, man. I greatly appreciate it. Now let's dive into these best bets. For my first best bet of the day, we're going to go to this Monday Night Football matchup. And truthfully, there's a lot of question marks that are surrounding both of these teams. So you might as well wait a little bit to see if you get some injury news. You might not get the value on the line like you would have. But overall, there are a lot of question marks. But I think there's still a few ways that we can handicap this game, even despite all the injury news. So the first thing that I'm going to be looking at, right, is Jalen Hurts. Is he playing? He's questionable. I don't think he plays. But even if he does play, he's not going to be 100%. So because of that, I think the Eagles have to depend on the run game in this one. You've heard me pitch DeAndre Swift several times on this channel. You guys know I've been a big fan of him, even when we signed him and we weren't playing him at first. But today is the day. We haven't used him over the last few weeks, so the guy is ready to go. He's like a dog in a cage who's ready to be unleashed, and I feel like the Eagles have to run the ball. I mean, if they don't feel the pressure from the fans, I mean, fans have been showing up outside the practice facility, telling them to run the ball. The analysts, the commentators, the news report, like everybody's been saying the Eagles, why aren't you running the ball? And even when you look at the game last night with the Bills and the Cowboys, guess what happened? They ran the ball like 50 times and they won that game pretty easily. So for me, I feel like the Eagles have to run that ball in this game, and we're going with DeAndre Swift over 13.5 rushing attempts. You can take the 14.5 as well. I got it at minus 130 odds on DraftKings. I just really like this line because I feel like the Eagles have to establish the run in this game, not only because that's what the fans want to see, not only because the play calling has got predictable, but because Jalen Hurts is not going to be 100% even if he does play. But the Eagles are just a much better team when they run the ball with DeAndre Swift, and when they run the ball in general. But DeAndre Swift is that playmaker, and he needs the touches. He needs the volume to get into the rhythm. Getting 3 carries in the first half and expect this guy to turn up in the second half, that's not how he works. You got to chip away at this defense and let the best offense line in the NFL work. And this is the Seattle team to do that against. They're top 10 in terms of the worst run defense in the league, so the Eagles should be able to exploit that today. And when you look at the numbers for DeAndre Swift, when the Eagles run the ball, they win. They're 8-1 this year in terms of games where DeAndre Swift has gone over 14 or more carries. The Eagles need to win this game. It's a big game for them, right? And he's also gone over this total of 14 carries in 8 of 12 games this year. 2 of the times that he didn't get it was like in the last few games. So you could see in the beginning of the season when the Eagles were winning all those games, they were handing the ball off. I feel like they went back into the lab today. They looked at what was working in those win streaks. And also, again, Jalen Hurts being out that injury, I think is a big caveat, a big question mark, and I feel like that means that they have to lean on DeAndre Swift. So we got to get back to the tempo and the pace that's allowed the Eagles to become a top 5 run offense in the NFL. So they got to hand off the ball to DeAndre Swift to make that happen. With the Hurts injury and the news and the illness and all that, I think that they have to lean on him. I think he flies over this total today easily. Also gets his rushing yards as well, just to take advantage of that weak Seattle defense there on the run side. So let's go with DeAndre Swift over 13.5 rushing attempts as our first best bet of the day. Now, I'll also tell you this. I'm going to put this inside my prize pick entry that I'm going to be putting in. I'm in a prize pick competition with Trent and a few other guys as we're trying to win tickets to the Lakers game, a courtside ticket this weekend coming up. Yesterday, I put together a prize pick entry. absolutely looked beautiful on paper until Zach Wilson went down with the injury, and then Garrett Wilson got 3 catches, and I need him to get 5. I'm not even going to break down the whole thing. I had Josh Allen pass attempts against the Cowboys. Did you ever think he would only throw the ball 15 times? So I absolutely dropped the ball in that prize pick entry yesterday, but I'm coming back today, and I'm going to put another 6-piece green gobbler together. So make sure you guys are tapped into the Twitter and the Discord group. I'm going to drop it on both of those, so make sure you guys stay up. But I tell you, this leg, DeAndre Swift, is going to be included in that prize pick entry. So the other 5 legs, make sure you guys are heading over to my Twitter or joining the Discord group so you guys can get that green gobbler. All right, my friends, I'm going to stay in this Monday Night Football matchup for another best bet, but I'm going to go with a total in this one, and I'm going to go with the under 45.5 minus 120. I see it down to 45 on certain books by the half point, so this way we don't have to push. And like I mentioned before, I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to play, in all honesty. And when you look at the playoff schedule, he doesn't really need to play this game, right? Let's break this down real quick, okay? The 49ers, they're right now the number 1 seed in the NFC because they have an 11-3 record. The Eagles are 10-3, but they haven't played today yet, right? So it makes sense. The remaining schedule for the 49ers, they play the Ravens next week. That could go either way. I mean, Ravens are looking like Super Bowl contenders. I mean, destroyed Jacksonville last night. And then they also play the Commanders, and then they play the Rams. So realistically, the 49ers should win 2 of the 3 games, but they could go 1-2. The Eagles, right, after tonight's game, they play the Giants twice and the Cardinals. So the truthfully 3 games that the Eagles should win, in all honesty. And then Dallas, the other team that's contending for the number 1 seed, but after last night's loss, they have a long shot in. They've got Miami up next, which is not going to be no easy game. Then they've got Detroit, which is not going to be an easy game. Then they got the Commanders. So the Cowboys could easily be looking at going in 1-2. So when you look at that full body of work, do the Eagles need to win today? Yes, to get that 1 seed. But when you really look at it, they do have some other chances and opportunities later on in the season because of their strength of schedule earlier on and how weak it is down the stretch for them to really be like, you know what, Marcus Mariota might be able to get us over the hump here. We might be able to rely on our defense and our offense to get us through the hump here. So that's something to keep in mind. But I really like the under in this matchup just because we're going to probably get both backup quarterbacks. Geno Smith is still questionable, but I just read a report that it's highly, highly unlikely that he plays with that groin injury. And if he does play with that groin injury, you got to ask yourself, how mobile is he really going to be? I don't know if you guys have ever had a groin injury. I've played through groin injuries in my career. And listen, it's not easy. It's not easy to run. And you know how that Eagles pass rush is coming, right? So I think because of that, Drew Lock is going to go. So we got 1 backup quarterback there. And like I mentioned, we also have Jalen Hurts, who's with the illness, and he's been quarantined from the team. So he's going to literally fly to Seattle all the way across the country by himself to come and play this game. I don't think the Eagles risk that. I don't think that's worth it, especially, I mean, yeah, you want that 1 seed, you want that extra bye week, but I don't know if that's really worth it for this Eagles team when you look again at that body of work of the remaining schedule. I think Mariota can get it done here. So because of that, I'm just going to go with the under in here. Now, I'll give you guys a quick bonus play that I'm probably going to drop inside my Discord group. In all honesty, I'm probably going to take a teaser in this game. I'll probably tease this up to 53 to take the under, and I'll probably take the Eagles from 3 down to plus 3.5. So I'll get you to about minus 130 on that 6.5 point teaser there. I love that personally because now you got the Eagles who kind of have to win this game, but I don't think they lose by more than a field goal. And then you also got the under, but you get it some extra insurance there. That's a bonus pick for you guys. You know what? Let's count that towards the record. So put the teaser in there, the 6.5 point teaser at minus 130. But I really like this under as well. The Eagles are 5-2 to the under on the road. Now, meanwhile, Seattle, they're 4-2 to the over at home. But when you've looked at some of their body of work, right, against some of the good teams that they played the 49ers twice. Both of those games went under, right? When you look at the Cowboys, that game flew over, but I mean, that's the Cowboys, right? I mean, you expect that. When they played the Ravens, that game finished 37-3, so that game went under, right? When they played the Browns, that game finished 24-20, that game went under. When they played the Bengals, that game finished 17-13, that game went under. So the games that have gone over for the Seahawks have been games against like the Cardinals, the Panthers, the Rams, at the beginning of the season when they weren't that good, right? So for me, the Eagles know that this is going to be a close game. They're not going to be at 100% strength. And then also keep in mind that the Eagles changed defensive coordinators this week. They're now bringing in Matt Patricia, who is one of Bill Belichick's students, right? So because of that, I like this under even more. One of Bill Belichick's key things is to take away the number 1 receiver, which is so I think the Eagles are going to be really focused on taking away DK Metcalf. I'm not saying he's not going to get off. I'm not saying he's not going to get his total or his yards, but I'm just saying I feel like the Eagles defense is going to be a little bit different, a little bit energized this week because of the change in defensive coordinator and then also the backup quarterbacks. I'm not trying to overthink this one. The weather in Seattle is supposed to be good, but overall, I just think this is going to be a game that's going to be one in between the trenches. Both of these teams like to run the ball, especially Seattle. If I expect the Eagles to run the ball in this game, then I'm expecting some more clock to be eaten up. So that's my analysis. That's my look at on this game. So let's go with the player prop on DeAndre Swift. Let's go with the under 45.5, and I'm giving you a bonus teaser as well at minus 130 to 6.5 point teaser, as I think we get both backup quarterbacks here. Now, let's go to the NBA for our last best bet of the day, and I'm going to go to that Clippers and Pacers matchup. The Clippers are one of the hottest teams in the NBA, and now they go on the road to take on the Pacers. I'm going to keep backing the Clippers in all honesty. I like the way they look. Kawhi Leonard's in MVP form. People are not really talking about it. James Harden, he might be the system. I don't know. He's balling, right? And then also keep in mind that Paul George is going back to Indianapolis. Paul George always plays good in Indy. He always does. But for me, there's no really major notable injury news on the Clippers side. You got to always, with the NBA, make sure you guys are tapping into the injury news. Halliburton, he didn't play on Saturday for the Pacers. He was out with a knee injury, but I'm fully expecting him to play today. But one of the things that has really served this Clippers team good in that 7-game win streak that they're currently on is they're coming out to hot starts. And I expect that to happen again today. The Clippers are 6th in the NBA in first half margin, winning by the first half by an average of 3.5 points. However, over the last 3 games, that number has skyrocketed to a margin of over 15 points in the first half. They're on average over the last 3 games, winning the first half by more than 15 points. And in that stretch, they played the Knicks, they played the Warriors, and they played the Kings. That is 3 playoff teams that they've absolutely been able to obliterate in the first half. And now we got a Pacers team that plays no defense. I get it. The Pacers are at home. Those other games for the Clippers were when they were at home, and now they have to go on the road. So I think we're getting a little bit of line value here. So because of that, we're going to go with the Clippers first half, minus 1.5, minus 115. We cashed on this bet last week, and I expect us to cash on it today because just of what I mentioned of how good the Clippers have been in the first half. And when you look at the Indiana Pacers on the other side, they're 18th in first half margin. They're normally trailing by maybe about 1 or so points at the end of the first half, and that number has actually dropped to trailing by more than 7 over the last 3 games. But keep in mind, those games were on the road, but when you look at that body of work, I'm just not convinced. They played the Bucks, who don't play a bunch of defense, but a playoff team and a contender nonetheless. They played the Wizards and the Timberwolves. I get the Wolves are one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now too, but the Wizards, and when you talk about over the last 3 games, they've been trailing in the first half by more than 7 points, and now you have a Clippers team coming into town on a 7-game win streak where PG used to play, and they're winning the first half by an average of 4 points over the last 3 games by more than 15. I'm willing to lay the 1.5 points here because of just what the numbers are telling me, okay? But if you want to take the Clippers full game spread as well at 3, I like that as well. The Clippers are 12-4 this year when scoring more than 110 points on the season. Guess what? That's 8th best in the NBA. Pacers don't play any defense. They've allowed more than 126 points per game this year, which is 2nd worst in the NBA. So the Clippers have a 75% hit rate when they're scoring more than 110 points this year. So just that alone gets me to like the Clippers on the full game spread. But we're just going to isolate this to the first half. And like I said, I expect a big game for PG, as he always shows out when he's playing back in Indianapolis. So you might want to sprinkle a little bit on his PRA or take a look at a few of his player props as well. All right, my friends, those are 4 best bets for you today on this Monday. I put out 4 on Friday. We got killed. So hopefully we can get a sweep. It's been over a week since we've been celebrating a sweep on the channel. I've been a little bit cold. I'll admit that in all honesty. So if you don't like the picks, fade me, all right? Play me, fade me. Do what you want to do. I'm just giving you the pays that I like. All right, these picks are free, so you don't have to take them if you don't want them. Or if you know, whatever. Chirp me if you want to. It's fine. But these are the best bets. DeAndre Swift, over 13.5 rush attempts. We're going with the under 45.5 in the game. We're going with the teaser, taking the under up to 53 and taking the Eagles down to plus 3.5. That's a 6.5 point teaser. And then we're also going to go with the Clippers minus 1.5 in the first half. 4 best bets for you on this Monday, December 18th. Hopefully we'll come back tomorrow celebrating a sweep. And as always, my friends, dictate your fate. Let's get to that bread, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Later, guys. Tap into the Twitter so this way you guys can get that prize pick entry and the Discord as well. Later, guys.